This is John Groves coming to you for today's Bible talk from my home studio. Today, I want to discuss the last reported details in Moses' life. The book of Deuteronomy, in chapters 33 and 34, concludes with Moses' blessing on Israel, an account of his death and his burial in Moab. Please recall that due to Moses' anger in striking the rock twice to produce water at Meribah in the wilderness, he was not permitted to enter the promised land. Instead, the end of his earthly journey would be a panoramic vista of the promised land from the heights of Mount Pisgah. Mount Pisgah is thought to be the highest point in the mountain range west of the Jordan River. The mountain is also referred to as Mount Nebo. Moses, after announcing to the Israelites that Joshua would be leading them to the promised land, sets out to climb Mount Nebo. From the top of the mountain, he sees the promised land. God tells Moses, "I have let you see it with your eyes, but you shall not cross over there." Our text discloses that Moses died and was buried at an unknown location. It states, Moses was 120 years old when he died, his sight unimpaired, and his vigor had not abated. This is a marvelous description of having lived a full life. But what are we to make of his having been denied entry into the promised land? And why was his burial location secret? After all, the Israelites, as in many cultures, might have wanted to take part in extensive funereal and memorial observances. As matters unfolded, though, the Israelites paused on their journey for 30 days to mourn Moses' death. Some experts have suggested that the Israelites were wary of in any way encouraging his burial site becoming a pilgrimage destination outside the boundaries of the promised land. After all, the Israelites needed to establish themselves in a land which initially proved hostile to their entry. Thus, they looked forward and not backward in having completed their exodus from Egypt. Moses' mission to deliver the Israelites from Egypt was complete as they came within sight of the promised land. The book of Deuteronomy concludes with a grand testimonial for Moses and his legacy as follows. Never since has there arisen a prophet in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. He was unequaled for all the signs and wonders that the Lord sent him to perform in the land of Egypt against Pharaoh and all his servants and his entire land, and for all the mighty deeds and all the terrifying displays of power that Moses performed in the sight of all Israel. A mural fresco painting in the Sistine Chapel, completed around 1482 by a team of artists from Florence, depicts the scenes we have been discussing. Among the artists who designed and completed this work, we have Pietro Perugino, Luca Signorelli, Bartolomeo della Gatta, and other unnamed assistants. The work is titled Testament and Death of Moses, and I'd like to share that with you now. The painting can be divided into two main sections. The upper half depicts three scenes. On the right side, we have a view of the promised land. In the center, we have Moses descending from Mount Nebo, and on the left, we have his secret burial. In the lower half, on the center and right, we have Moses reading from the law to the assembled masses. And in the lower left side, we have Moses investing Joshua as his successor. One of the artist's collective intentions was to leave observers aware of the parallels between the life of Moses and the life of Jesus, and the ongoing investiture of popes to lead the church in Rome as depicted in the investiture of Joshua. The figure of Moses sitting on a throne and reading the law serves to remind the viewers of the Pope's role in issuing bulls and encyclicals, among other documents, to guide the faithful. Moses represents the ordering, some might say civilizing influence, through the written laws of a nation. The Israelites, at this stage of their development, might be viewed as a confederation of tribes assembled into a single nation, bound by laws which offered a degree of predictability and good order for their evolving society. Throughout Israel's existence, it was primarily an agrarian society that sought to provide for all its members, from the greatest to the least. Moses, his divine inspiration, and his followers deserve a good deal of credit for building up the foundations for the nation of Israel in ancient times. Charles Fillmore, in his Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, discusses the death of Moses in part as follows. When we emphasize the observance of divine law, we build that law in consciousness until it becomes the leader of our spiritual thoughts. And as for the significance of no one knowing where Moses was buried, Fillmore states, the law, referring to Moses, is carried along as the activity of a word of truth in the subconsciousness, referred to as a valley, as man unfolds in spiritual consciousness. Mount Nebo, for Charles Fillmore, represents metaphysically the divine inspiration, intuition, discernment, foresight, understanding, including expressions of divine will, inspired speech, and prophecies, as the manifestation of the three planes of consciousness in man. Those three levels are the physical, sensate, the mental, abstract, and the spiritual. Thus, reaching the heights of a situation or location allows one to discern, as an integral whole, the physical, mental, and spiritual content of divine ideas available for human creative expression. Here again, Charles Fillmore discerns the movement towards greater spirituality as truth is apprehended and put into action. Until next time, this is John Groves signing off.